Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. And wherever you are tuning in from around the world, I want to welcome you to the channel. And of course, if you're a regular on the channel, you know what to do. Smash that like button, and that'll help grow the channel and get this content out to more people. We'd really appreciate that. Love all the questions and the comments. I really do. And I do get back to those questions as soon as I'm able to. And thank you for all of the encouraging and kind words that people leave. I know that it takes time to do that, and I do really appreciate you taking the time to support the channel. Thank you so much for that. There are a bunch of links below in the description, including my cheat sheet. Also, the links for getting signed up on the Stocks with Josh Discord. If you haven't done that already, I'm in that Discord, the greatest Discord on the planet. You can sign up. The links below are in the description, and I'm in the crypto channel there on a daily basis, engaging with some pretty incredible people in there. So big shout out to the Discord community. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Is the low in? Is the September low in? How low can we go? I'm going to talk about the bearish case. I'm going to talk about the bullish case. And certainly September 4th, we saw a drop down to, I believe it was around 55. Sandra will check on the charts later. Certainly, can we go lower, or is that the low for Bitcoin? We're going to jump into some news, and then we're going to look at the charts right at the end. So let's jump into it here. And first of all, we've got that rate cuts. Now, the prediction markets now are higher that there will be a 50% basis point rate cut. I don't think they're going to do 50. I think 25 is the most likely scenario. I think the markets are pushing for 50 so that the Fed will feel, oh, hey, we're not going to give them exactly what they want, but they'll give them somewhere in the middle. I think it would be a mistake if there was no rate cuts at all and they left things unchanged. I certainly feel that 25% is a solid rate cut, and I think 50% is a little bit optimistic there. But certainly we saw the total job openings in the US fall well below the expectations, and it really now is up to the Fed to jump in and do something on that. That's coming up, I believe, is it the September the 18th FOMC. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll keep you informed of that as we get closer to the date. Also, the US yield curve update. As you know, or if you've been studying the economic data, or you're been watching different economic events, the 2-year Treasury yield is almost back below the 10-year yield, close to reversing the inverse of the yield curve. Charts show what has happened the last few times that the yield curve uninverts, and certainly it's not a very pretty thing. So certainly, again, here, the longest yield curve inversion in history has ended with the 10-year Treasury yield now 1 basis point above. Historically, the flip back to positive after a long inversion has occurred near the start of recessions. So certainly, we are in or close to a recessionary environment. And so we need to really keep that in mind as we trade, to make sure that we're not risking more than we can afford to lose, or that we can afford to be down on for a long period of time if we go into a earlier kind of bearish trends, both in stock and in crypto. Now, Nvidia had a bit of a dump because it was reported that they had been subpoenaed, but now Nvidia is saying that they were never subpoenaed. And so nearly 280 billion of its value was wiped out in a single day. That's very irresponsible journalism for those who reported that. And certainly it was first reported by CNBC. And so you've got to be very careful and I do get asked on here, hey, can you share some accounts to follow, etc. And I don't like doing that, because I don't really know who's compromised. I don't know who's paid to shill certain coins. A lot of crypto Twitter is paid. They are paid posts. That's marketing, promotion, and that's how people come to buy coins, and then they don't realize why the coin that they bought is 40-50% down, but they bought it because they saw some influencer. None of the posts or opinions here that I post on Twitter, YouTube, in the Discord are paid. And if there is some kind of sponsorship, I will let you know. And I will be clear about that. Certainly, secondly, contrast that whatever that I say here is personally my own opinion. And it's not financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. It's just for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? Maximus Meridius said in the movie Gladiator. But certainly, I just want you to know that and to be clear on this channel. This is why I don't recommend, unless I were to know somebody personally that doesn't do that. So certainly, that's where I'm at on that. Okay, so and moving on to the next item here. Google searches for the term Bitcoin have reached their lowest level since August 2023. Sometimes that can be seen as a buy the dip opportunity when sometimes can see as a market bottom. And I do feel we are close. I do. If the bottom is not in, I do feel we're close. I'm going to put that. That's a little bit of a sneak preview of what's coming later. I do feel we are very close if the bottom is not already in. Okay. And the fear and greed index, you can check that out at low funding rates, negative or neutral, interest being wiped out. These are all generally good times to buy. So I want to say that and put that out there, that if you're in the Discord, and I do encourage you to be in the Discord because I am sharing my thoughts there on a regular basis. I'm answering questions. You can have direct access to me there in the Discord. So I do encourage you to get signed up on that. And certainly what I will say is that I have been buying the dips. And on my cheat sheet, there are buy levels around where we are right now and even lower. Okay, so important. How low can we go? Well, people have different opinions on this. And the different opinions, will Bitcoin fall below 50,000? So I want to run a bit of a poll. Do you think Bitcoin is going to go? There'll be three options: that Bitcoin will go below 50,000, that Bitcoin will close below 50,000, or Bitcoin is not going to go below 50,000 at all. So that's A, B, and C. So go below, close below, and not go below. Those are your three options. I want to hear what you have to say. There's some different analysts here. This person says that a Bitcoin drop below 50,000 is inevitable because of the symmetrical triangle trend line. This person says that the low is further drops to 53 or 49 is likely. 53 is likely, or even 49. And we've got here expected dip to 51. When I see all of that, I generally now think probably not going to happen. That's what, because you just don't have these guys. When you see all crypto Twitter and YouTube's all FUD and whatever, you just feel like the market's probably going to go the other way. So certainly there, do you think Bitcoin could go sub 50? Of course, the report, all people saying that it's going to go lower there. So just very, very interesting there. What is your, and also if you think it's going to go below 50, tell me what you think it's going to. And if you think it doesn't go below 50, is the bottom in already? September 4th, and just remember the last three halving cycles, the bottom on September was the 2nd, and the 8th. Okay, so only if we go past the 8th, we would be doing something new we haven't seen in the last three halving cycles, this being the fourth halving cycle here. Okay, so how low can we go? All right, so the next little piece of item, what if 74K was the actual cycle top? And we do have to consider that as a possibility. If we see some global economic meltdown, certainly there are a lot of credit debt per household in America is all-time high, and the savings at an all-time low. What could go wrong? And so don't be fooled that the warning signs were not there or are not there. What if the 74K was the actual top? Are you prepared? It doesn't mean that we still can't have a bit of an alt season. I mean, from 55 to 74, that's a $20,000 jump. And so we just have to be prepared. I do believe we are going to get back to 69, 70K because there is a ton of liquidity there that the market makers want to grab, and a lot of shorts are going to get wrecked. But will we get back above $74,000? That's a good question. So I do think we will, barring some kind of economic collapse. And even then, I think the Fed is just going to put more money and step in, and we'll see a COVID-style bounce back, which could lead to pushing the ball down the track for more greater inflation and more pain and heartbreak for Americans who are struggling already. Okay. Now, we did have the last couple of days, the ETFs have been selling off. So that's not a great sign. BlackRock, I think, is the only one that hasn't. But just in the last couple of days, shed more than 325 million net outflow, making it one of the worst 2-day stretches in recent months there. Okay, and you can kind of see that there. Ethereum, of course, same issue there. Lost more than 90 million, dragging the collective performance since inception to a drawdown of 2.65 billion just for Grayscale alone. Fair enough, but all other 8 ETF issues are in the green with positive net new money performance since the launch. But a lot of that could just be Grayscale going into, because of the fees, going into these other ETFs. So I'm not really sold on ETH just yet. I do think it can hit that $10,000 mark, which is just really a simple 4x from here. And you think that it should be clearly able to do that. There is, as I said earlier, a lot of liquidity above. So I'm giving showing things for both the bears and the bulls here. There is a lot of liquidity sitting above us. It's only a matter of time. You just think this is going to come and get grabbed at some point. So I do think a pump is inevitable. Even if we do see some more downside, I do feel that if we can ride that out, we're going to see that 69 to 70K region again. Okay? And then September isn't really that bad. And Bitcoin tends to experience downside in the month of September, but this downside tends to be single digits. And I covered this over the last few days in my video because I see all this massive FUD on September and people panic selling. And I'm worried that people are selling the bottom and then just going to have to buy back higher. Or maybe it's going to work out, but it's just rolling the dice is very risky. And twice the Bitcoin produced double-digit downside in a pre-halving year and in the bear market, never in a halving year. And so in a halving year, Bitcoin actually produced single-digit upsides, ranging from +2 to +6%. So September isn't the worst month for the Bitcoin. Certainly, I do want to dispel that. Now, Sui, I'm very, very bullish on Sui. Serve your piece of history, the world's first Web3 handhold narrative. Pre-order your Sui play. Now, it seems like a bit of a Nintendo Switch. And for those of you who are young enough, like me, can remember the PlayStation Portable. True story, I actually still own a PlayStation Portable and some games. My wife was trying to get me to get rid of it, but no, I'm standing firm because I sold a lot of stuff when I was younger that is now worth a lot of money. Okay, so this is pretty cool. Check this out. I'm not going to go into it, but certainly Sui play, bullish on Sui. Also for Sui, it's 14 times cheaper than Solana and 900 times cheaper than Ethereum in August. And this what makes Sui a real danger to Solana because it has a capped supply. Unlike Solana, which has an uncapped supply, and they keep increasing the supply of Solana every year. It just keeps growing. Sui could get as high or higher than Sui. So there's certainly two great blockchains. I'm in both. They're two of my biggest plays for blockchains, along with Kaspa as well, being a big play there. Certainly. Now, speaking of Kaspa, are you ready to make an impact with Kaspa? There is a Kaspa Ambassador program, so check that out. There's a link there. Maybe you can be a Kaspa ambassador. I'm going to check into it as well, but I'm certainly bullish on Kaspa. I'll be looking into it, and I'll give an update when I manage to look into that. Okay, we also have some bullish news for Solana. We have PayPal and Solana getting together. I'm not a huge fan of PayPal, but certainly a company, big institution, and certainly PayPal getting together with Solana is bullish for the crypto industry and is bullish for Solana. What's also bullish for Solana is Breakpoint. Now, remember, I did do a video the other day. The problem I have with Solana, and at no time did I say I was selling out of all my Solana. What I said was that on every Solana pump, I would be taking profits and looking to reallocate into other coins and moving into other coins. And then, of course, we have our good old friend Ethereum. And so just remember that Solana does pump into Breakpoint. Breakpoint's September 20th or 21st. The average pump is 62%. That would put Solana at $215. So is Solana a buy right now? If you wanted to swing trade it, it may historically, yes, it would be if history plays out as it has played out in previous years. So there was a 68% surge, 42%. You can click through and see more here. Okay, the Ethereum Foundation sold another 100 ETH. They just keep doing it. Since January 1st, the Ethereum Foundation has sold $2,600 Ethereum for $7.64 million, and Vitalik selling it off as well. And they keep minting more tokens. At some point, they need to make Ethereum deflationary and stop this inflationary nonsense. It's just suppressing the price of Ethereum, and it's hurting investors, and it's keeping the price suppressed. And it's not good when you see the Ethereum Foundation and the founder Vitalik both dumping ETH constantly. Is very demotivating for investors. Okay, and then just lastly, just remember you have the X Empire, what's it called? Airdrop, free airdrop coming up. And they're telling you what you need to do. You need to make sure that you have your wallet connected. I'm using this TonHub or TonKeeper. I think you've got to use TonKeeper. Couldn't get TonHub to work. Make sure you get TonKeeper connected. Send your Ton coins, or 1 Ton coin at least, to TonKeeper. You need to use that as gas fees that pays for your transactions to sell your airdrop into Ton, and then you can move that Ton back to a crypto.com or a supporting exchange, a MEXC, or whatever exchange you're using. You can sell that into USDT. That's how you would do it. They're going to base it off your in-game profit per hour, the number and quality of friends. So you can just read that post. Just keep an ear. Wallet, profit, and friends. Those are the 3 things they're basing on it. Very simple. We also had the Hamster Kombat airdrop, and we also had the whale airdrops there. There hasn't been any announcements there. You can't even connect your wallet at this point, so it's still early stages. But go below into the cheat sheet. There is a link also if you wanted to get started on the whale. It's not too late to grab some of that airdrop for X Empire and for Hamster Kombat. All of those links are below in the description and in my cheat sheet, including the whale one. Don't miss out on this free money. And there are other ones in there. I've added Blum, and I'm going to keep adding to the airdrop. So check out the cheat sheet. We're going to have a quick look at the charts here just for Bitcoin. That's all we have time for today. Go to the Discord if you want some other charts. But so here we see here, it's just really the same. We're just basically going sideways. We have down here now a new lower low on September 4th. Is September 4th going to be the low of September? Let's see what shakes out. But certainly to the downside, the risk to the downside is this area here, right here. And of course, my trend line here has beautifully held support all the way since October of 2023. That trend line has held as Bitcoin support. So that's pretty powerful as well. Don't forget about that. Certainly it's gone wicked below it, but we have not had a close below it. And if we were to go down to it, that we would be looking at around that low 56 area. But certainly the risk to the downside is the 51 to the 54 area. There are a lot of different areas there. 54, certainly around here where this candle closed. And then we have around the 52 level. If we come across, there's certainly, you can see there at the 52 level, there is be support there. And then down at that 51.5, there's a big Lux Algo order block there that would, and there is obviously, this is where the breakout came from. So a full retracement back to where we broke out from, which and technically somewhere around this 50 to 52 area. And certainly this is where we broke down to the 54. So you can see, so what do I think? And then obviously, so that's the risk of the downside. If we lose 50, I would be surprised. A close below 50, I'd be surprised. A wick below into the mid to high 40s is my kind of line in the sand. If we start getting below there, I'm going to put out a new video on that talking about my thoughts. But then that I would have to have some serious questions about where we're going in this bull market, or if we're in for an early finish here, and if 74K really was the top. To the upside here, we've got the resistance at 59, so 60K is a critical level. We've got, and that's the 200 EMA on the daily. We've got the 50-day moving average up at around 61.5, but the big level to break is going to be the $65,000 level, which is where we broke down from, came back up, couldn't get above, and then came all the way back down again. So my 3 scenarios, I think the most likely scenario is that we do come down and we do put in a lower low than this, than what we saw, this 55,600, and we come down and get into this 52 to 54 area, 51 to 54.50. That I just identified. That's a big area of interest there. this order block right between here and here. I think the second most likely scenario is that the low was already in on September 4th, and we just kind of bounce around here. Just remember that Bitcoin generally has not gone much lower than the 200 EMA. It usually stays pretty close to it. And the last halving cycle 4 years ago, it broke down below it and pretty much stayed below it most of the time until October. And so we could see history repeating that we might see it stay under there until later in September, early October before we saw a breakout. It could just bounce around in this area here. And the third scenario, which is the least likely, is that we come down into the 40 scenario. That's the way I'm playing. But I'm really 50-50 on these two here. I do feel that September 4th could possibly have been it, but my gut feeling feels like we could come down here a little bit lower and not close down here. It certainly is possible that we close down here, but certainly a wick down here just to really freak everybody out. It just really depends also on leverage, how many people go long. If there's a lot more people going long, a lot of leverage, if people get really frothy, then the market makers have a high incentive to flush those out and have a flush to the downside and scoop up that liquidity there. But if a lot of people start going short and getting really bearish, then I think possibly this could be the low, and there's an incentive to push to the upside and really flush out those shorts. Okay, well, we're going to leave it there today. Again, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. And certainly until the next one, happy trading.